Okay, having spoken about how to get used with Bootstrap and how to use it and the demonstration on the Airbnb data, make sure to go and check if you want to add other elements to that. Let's talk a little bit about the project one, okay? So here are some requirements for project one. The first project, it is going to be an individual project. The other ones, I think I'm going to be asking you to work at least in pairs. But basically, you want to have a page that includes your skills, your courses, everything you have done. I don't know. It's your own content, so make sure to have something interesting. Think of this as your homepage. If you already have a homepage and you want to do something else, do let me know. And as long as you have like the rest of the requirements, that should be fine. Okay. It should be W3C compliant. In case you don't know, the W3C is the organization that controls the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript standard. So it is very important that the page that you generate doesn't generate any errors in here. And it should be using Bootstrap 5. If you don't want to use Bootstrap for some reason, do let me know in Slack. But for the moment, I think it's better if we all use it. But you can use templates. Now, having said that, I recommend you for these first projects, and actually for the whole class, but especially for this very first project, try to do as much as you can on your own. Like using Bootstrap is fine, because but if you really want to go even lower down, you can try creating everything on your own. But try not to use generative AI for creating all of these pages, because it is going to be like right now, like it is very good, like Gen AI, especially Cloud, is very good at generating HTML pages. But the problem is that if you don't know what is the code it is generating, then you cannot modify it, you cannot find bugs, you cannot know when things are not working, why they're not working, okay? Because of that, you have two requirements, and I have to go and change on Canvas for this one as well. It said only before only 2 pages, but now what I want you to do is please go and build 2 pages completely on your own, okay? If you want to use Copilot, I disable it in here, and because it can be a little bit noisy, but if you want to use it, Copilot, it's fine, as long as you know all the code that is generating what it does. If you can do it without Copilot, even better, okay? And then I want you to generate one page, and third page, you can generate that just using generative AI. And I'm going to show you more examples of that later, so you can compare. Just make sure that you create the first two, and then you have to come up with a very good prompt that still uses exactly the same technologies and everything, okay? Having said that, your page also has to feature one JavaScript, vanilla JavaScript feature, and it shouldn't be copied, okay? So it shouldn't be something that you got from someone else. It doesn't have to be super complicated, but make sure that you do that on your own. Like I think in office hours or something like that, someone asking me examples of things you could do. Like in the example I provided, like, is that in my website, all of these things are completely generated with JavaScript. All of these contents are coming from JSON files or Google spreadsheets. These visualization that you see on the top, it is just taking into account like what is the current date, and then it's computing how long the bar should be depending on how much time has passed. So I actually haven't modified this one in the last 5 years, and it keeps on improving every year or every day, even, because it is comparing with the current date. There are other things that are more complicated like this, but you don't have to go that fancy. Just do something that does JavaScript and try to make it like creative, because one of the requirements for the project is that you have to have one creative addition. So make sure, and that creative addition, it's not so much about how the page looks and feel. It's more on like some feature that you added, that you created, that separates you from all of the other developers. If you have more questions, feel free to send me a message and we can discuss that on Slack, okay? As I mentioned, you can use Bootstrap templates. Just make sure that you have the license to use it, okay? So probably look for a free template, that even those templates you need to create like references. If you're going to be using any images in your page that are like stock images or something like that, make sure to provide references of where you get that image from. Make sure also that you have the license to use it. Search for non-copyrighted materials like When I used to work at Yahoo Labs, I was part of the Flickr team when they created, so they created this idea or improve this search engine for that. So let me go and search, for instance, for information visualization on Flickr, which is like this platform for sharing photos. And when you go in there, you can find somewhere here, maybe? No. Content. Oh, they moved it. Damn it. Oh, here. Perfect. The license. You want to have licenses like, for instance, all Creative Commons. And then when you go and see the actual photo, like for instance, this one in here. Oh, look at that. Oh, they are going to force me to log in, but then in the bottom, they're going to say that it's a Creative Commons image, which I can use as long as I provide references. So make sure to include that. If you want to use any special libraries, make sure to let me know. I have to prove it first because we want to be building things like as much as possible from scratch. So take that into account. So for the submission requirements, you need to include a design document, okay? We're going to talk a little bit more about that probably in the next class, but it's going to be very, very basic. I want to see like a very basic idea on what are the user stories, like 3 user stories, and for your project, what are the type of things, especially for this one, is going to be very easy because it's just your homepage. Everything has to be on a GitHub repository with README and the MIT license, okay? All of the code has to have the MIT license. If you want to use a different open source one, let me know, and then with a good explanation why, and I have to prove it. You have to deploy it, and you can do that very easily with GitHub Pages. Like I might do a demo for that in the next class, and make sure that if you want to use something else for deploying, that we expect the projects to be available like 6 months to a year later, okay? Then you should make a 2-minute presentation with Google Slides, and you have to do the code review of one of your peers that Canvas is going to be creating for you, okay? Then I want to see a 3-minute video demonstration that you need to upload to YouTube or something like that, and then put into the submission form with the URL, and make sure that all of that is going to be visible. At the end of the day, all of these things, I wonder if I have that thing. Oh, it's in classes. Here, Web Development Online. Remember, if you have seen this thing, these project submissions, once you complete the Google form that you can find on Canvas, then every submission is going to be showing up in here, and you have to make sure that it's showing up correctly, okay? So back to the slides. In the design document, I want to see the description of the project that you want to create. You want to create some basic user stories. Go and search online, what are user stories? The whole idea of this is that you want to provide like what is the type of customer that you want, and then what you want to do in that page. So what? So basically you say something like, as a technology recruiter, I want to find if John Alexis Guerra has information visualization skills, so I can hire him or not, decide to hire him or not, something like that. So like you can search online, there's a ton of information, and let me know. And I also want you to go and, before getting started creating your page, go and create some wireframes of it, okay? Really quickly. It doesn't have to be super elaborate. You want to do them on Figma, that's fine. If you want to do them on paper and then just take a photo, that's fine as well. Just create an idea of what you want to create before, like sketch an idea, like before you actually go and create it. And it doesn't have to be super advanced. It's what we call wireframes, because it doesn't have to really have the content, just like boxes for where everything should go. For the presentation, the typical one that I recommend is just putting like what is the objective, like in this case, like it's going to be your homepage, but then highlight what it's special for you, what are the technologies you use, what you're the most of from the project, and what was the hardest part. And then the demo, since we are only going to have the slides in there, then you can include the video in there. Use Google Slides, make sure that they are public, or if you want to use like Office 365 or whatever, just make sure that everyone can see them, okay? Because they are going to be included in there. Like here is more information about the GitHub plus the code, and then here is some documentation on how you can organize your files, how you make sure that the project has a good structure, and then make sure also that you have a good README. In that README, you should have your project name. In this case, like I recommend you do not go and say it's something like CS 5610 project 1. Instead, like I want this to be visible for the whole public. So try to use something like says like homepage, John Guerra, and then a good description, very clearly described. Go and put the screenshots on your page so people know what the project is about, what are the requirements for running the page, how you can install it and use it. This is going to be more important later on the other projects. In this case, it's just running an HTTP server, but you can describe that. Make sure that you have an author, in this case yourself, with a link to the homepage. If you want to say in the description of the README that this is part of this class, you can also link to the class so people can find it. Reference from the class, link to the video demonstration, and then make sure to use GitHub Markdown. Something else that is very important, in the README, I forgot to put it in here, add very clearly what is your creative addition. Do not make us think. Okay, so the creative addition, again, is what is going to be that secret sauce that you're adding to the project, so everyone can know that you're different and that you're cooler, so they can hire you. For the code reviews, Canvas is going to assign the code reviews. Once we have the project deadline, we are going to have 24 hours for you to complete the code review. If the person that you're reviewing hasn't submitted the code, tag them on Slack, and then in general, and then go and say, hey, John, I am waiting for you so I can do my code review. So please be respectful of everyone because you're going to be putting them into trouble. And if the other person doesn't respond or something, we can assign you someone else. So make sure to be very respectful. Use positive comments. In these code reviews, what we want to see is that you actually took the effort of reading the code. And then if you find things that could be improved, you can go and say, hey, you could do this better like this. Or I actually did it this other way, consider that. Or even if you find that all the code that it's in there, it's very advanced, then what you can do is just go and say, oh, I really like this part. I did it in a different way, but I like this better. So be very positive about that. So if you want to do praises, that's good, but make sure that you demonstrate. So do not go and just put something like, ha, everything looks good, and that's it, because you're not going to get the points. And then here is a video where I demonstrate how to create the whole process. So make sure to go and watch that so you can submit these things. And with that, that is the Bootstrap class and all of the main concepts. As usual, let us know on Slack if you have any questions. And then we are finishing hiring all the TAs and all of that. But for the moment, just send us questions and we can try everything together, just collaborate to answer among ourselves. With that, thank you very much, and I will see you next class.